Good day, beautiful people. Once again, it's a beautiful, 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 beautiful day, and I welcome you to the Divine Truth where we bring out the truth in any concept. So, I'm out here in nature once again, just breathing in the beautiful fresh air, beautiful peaceful air, and just enjoying myself right here. So basically today I'm going to speak about the beauty of all religions. The beauty of all religions. So before I had a problem with religions because there's always fights. I always ask myself, why are these people fighting? Is this not a one God? And they preach that at church that we serve one God, but they act the other way around. So I used to ask myself a question that if people says we serve a one God, then why are we so much lost? Now, here's the thing. Many of us, and even myself included, I used to live from a sense of lack. I used to live from a feeling of that I lack something. So in my grief, I will have a desire to hide my grief by identifying with some sort of a group or joining some sort of an occult or religion in order to belong. Because when we feel like we don't belong anywhere, our mind will give us an illusion to go and seek for belonging. So basically, the reason why religion has been misunderstood is because everybody is looking to belong somewhere. And we doing it physically so that if I go to church at a certain place, then I shall belong. If I join a certain religion, then I shall belong. But basically, this thing is more spiritual than physical. God is love, is joy, and is peace. And every religion, they're speaking about the same thing. So I started to realize that there are so many things that makes religion to fight against each other, that forms this illusion of separation. And some of these things, I will speak about them and I will code them. The first one that makes religion to be ugly and not beautiful, and that makes religions to be divided, is that people hide behind the concept of religion. They make, if they don't understand something, that's why they say, Sadhguru once said this word, he said that when one has not experienced something, then they make it into a belief. Then into a belief they start to lie. So basically, because many people have never experienced the joy and the peace and the love of God, they form concept of who God is according to what they've heard of others. They formed concept of what angels look like. They formed concept of what God looks like and what God wants. And the sad thing is that we will always form concept according to our own perspective. So if you live from fear, then you will form a concept that God must be feared. If you live from pleasure and pain, then you will form a concept that God must be pleased. If you live from an illusion of shame, you'll start to say that God doesn't love certain things. For example, God doesn't love people who have sex before marriage and stuff like that. And if you live from grief, from a sense of love, from a sense of lack, then you'll start to think that God expect us to hope that something may happen. That's why hope is an illusion as much as fear. They are all the same thing. So basically, that's what happens. And the most dangerous thing, which is the second one, that we fall for is we start to glorify spiritual teachers. I just watched a video from this other lady, Nikki Seton. She was speaking about the traps of spiritual awakening. So she spoke on this part where we start to glorify the gurus, we start to glorify the masters, and when we glorify them, then we take away our power from ourselves to them. Like for example, people glorify pastors, that they fear them, and fear is actually the essence of darkness and illusion, or you can say the devil or shaitan, or whatever you may call it. I love to call it ego. So they start to fear spiritual teachers because they've given their powers and their souls to them. Because I remember I went to this other church yesterday, the church that guy called himself a prophet. But when I got there, I realized that people have given their power to him. People don't even know that they can become spiritual teachers themselves. That's why they say the most dangerous man to ever meet is a man who will forever wants you to become their servant and never give you hope to become your own master. So basically, all the people have given him their soul in a way. They've sold their soul to him, and he controls their souls. He does what he wants to do, and this is happening mostly in the Christian religion. People have given their powers to pastors. So that guy, he he feels powerful, he's egoic, and he thinks that God only lives in himself, and he's so ignorant of the peace. So I was at that place throughout the whole service as I was praying for the souls that are willing to receive from God, because I realized that he's speaking from ego and from the power that is being given unto by people. So as I was busy with that at the end of the service, then I was just chilling, and then he came to me and said, "Do you want to see?" So I looked at the guy. That's when I realized that he's trying to intimidate me. He's trying to make me give in to fear. That's the traps of ego. Then I just said, "No, bruh, my eyes are already opened." And he panicked. He didn't know what to do, so he tried to ignore that fact, tried to cover it up. So I realized that Christians, they've given too much of their power to their pastors. So whatever a pastor says, it goes. That's why religion of Christianity is being messed up. There are so many teachings that have been misinterpreted from the teachings of Jesus Christ, that people, they want to be superior than others, and they have took out God out of the churches. I always love to say that God has been brought out of the churches, and you will find him in the taverns, in the pubs, because after people drink alcohol, then they start to feel united, they start to feel one. Then from there they live, they become peaceful, they become joyful, even though it's for a moment, but it's amazing in a way. And then I realized something, that in Muslim religion, I've never been to one of the Muslim churches, but there is a church around, so I'm going to visit one day there. I realized that the Muslim religion, we don't know much about it, but we only know what our pastors has told us, because we giving our power too much of our powers to our pastors. Then we listen to what they tell us. They always say that Muslim kill people and stuff like that. But once I started to do my own research and started to realize for myself, I started to realize beautiful things, because I listened to this guy Mufti Meng. He's a beautiful soul that is speaking using the religious path of Muslim religion. Because what you must understand is that religions are just certain paths to spiritual awakening, are just certain paths to peace and to God. So we can't say that one road is the only road to God. Saying that is actually saying it out of ego. That's what Christians are doing. They say that that Jesus Christ is the only way to God. But Jesus Christ meant it in a spiritual way, because he was a peaceful man. He said that you can only experience God through me, through peace, through love, through joy. Now people misunderstood that, because they were pushing their own agenda. And the Muslim religion, it's beautiful when I hear it from Mufti Menk, because he's a Muslim spiritual teacher. He's They speak about faith so much good, because they always say that trust in Allah, trust in the Almighty, and do what you can. That's a beautiful analogy of faith. I actually learned faith from the Muslim religion. That's why I am a soul that is free. I explore all religions, so I learned faith from Muslim religion, and they speak it more beautifully than in Christian religion, because in Christian religion they have this mentality that actually is the mentality that the pastors and preachers and spiritual teachers of Christianity gives to people, that just have faith and things will happen for you. because they don't want people to reclaim back their power. They've taken people's power. So that's another beautiful religion. It's a religion of Hindu religion. It's a beautiful religion because it opens, it broadens our mind. It has broadened my mind to realize that, oh, gods, people who are called gods are people who become awakened, who become enlightened among the earth. So there are so many gods in Hindu. That's only because those gods are spiritual teachers who took their own way and who realized themselves in different ways. So that's a beautiful religion also, because, but I don't have any reading of it because I don't know, is it Bhagavad Gita? I'm not sure if it's book, it's Bhagavad Gita, because I have it. I read that book. It's a beautiful book though, but it's book mainly on Sri Krishna, Lord Krishna. So there's another religion which is Buddhism. People have this concept that Buddhists, they worship Buddha, but they that's only because from their own perspective, whenever they see somebody, whenever they see somebody who wrote the books like a spiritual teacher, when they see them, they worship them. That's what they do. So everybody can only speak from their own perspective. So Christians worship their pastors and their prophets and their spiritual teachers most of the time. When you worship somebody, it means you give your soul to them. So they've given their willpower to those preachers. The preachers can do whatever that they want to do. If they can come and decide that we're gonna make sure that you eat that higher, they will eat that higher. So they worship pastors and prophets. So they think that everybody else worship their spiritual teachers. But the Buddhist religion, they don't worship Buddha, but they see him as a guru. A guru is a darkness dispenser, somebody who gave them a path. So they don't worship Buddha, but they're just grateful to him. They're just grateful to him for showing them the way, a beautiful way. Because actually, I also learned something much important. Breathing from the spine and everything. I also learned it from a Buddhist tradition. I took the path and then it made sense to me from the Buddhist tradition. So there are Sufis also. I don't know much about Sufis because I haven't explored Sufism yet. So I don't know much about it. I won't comment until I find information on Sufism. And there's also the shamans. The shamans, their music is much beautiful. They have this beautiful music. It's a music where they call it, it's what soul refragmentation. You start to gather your soul, bring it back from all the things that you've given it to. So that music is beautiful because it has helped me a lot, especially when I came to my heart chakra. And yes, that's the all the religion that, okay, that's the Rastafarians religion. It's a beautiful religion, but people hate it because they use weed, and people don't understand what weed is. Weed, it's a spiritual plant actually. It's a plant that will help you to shift spiritually, but a problem is that people are abusing it. It will shift you. It has certain vibration, but once you surpass that vibration, it cannot take you any further. So it's just, we can call it a startup for anybody who wants to start on a spiritual path. So Rastafarians, they smoke weed. It's a beautiful experience though. I've tried it once. I never smoke it fully. Maybe I have to buy it and smoke it, but I only smoke it for just a few puffs. And because at the time my my own vibration was a bit higher, but higher than it, I didn't feel anything at the time. So I haven't explored much on Rastafarians, but it's also a beautiful religion also, because you can see by the peace and the love that they emanate. And okay, I think that's all the religions that I can remember. So what you must understand and know is that the moment we try to hide behind religion, we start to make it meaningless. We start to bring God out of it, because God is not in words. I love, I think it was the Buddhist story where one man once come and said, Guru, Guru, can you please show me God? And the guy pointed to the moon. And then the guy was like, oh, and then he said that, I can never show you God, but I can only point you to him. So words, all the scriptures in all religions, all the words, all or some sort of holy books and stuff like that. They are just pointers to the truth. You just have to walk the truth, just like they said in the Matrix. I can only show you the door. You have to walk the path. So basically, you can't sit around and say, I have the Bible, or I have the Quran, or I have the Bhagavad Gita, or I have the, what's that book? I forgot the book of the Buddhist book. You can't just sit down and say that I have all of that, then I can't do anything else. You have to take action. You have to do something. You have to walk the path. So they just point us to the truth. It's like signpost that says, because I live in Breds, it says 40 kilometers to Breds. People are sitting under that signpost and they're saying they're at Breds. So they start to create concepts that are bit attractive in order to hide the fact that they are not in Breds. So you gotta walk the path. Signpost can only show you the path. So with that being said, I'm saying it's a beautiful, 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 beautiful day right here. It's a beautiful day right here. And I say, peace be unto you. Be amazing. Be awesome. Till we meet on the next video.